All right, so this is lesson 3 in our angles and parallel lines unit. The review here at the top, I'm not going to go through each question, but I did put the answers in there. Just reviewing that when you have a right angle, so a 90-degree angle that's being split somehow, those two new angles that it make are going to have to add up to 90. Right, so all this would be 90, and so 70 plus 20 is going to have to add up to 90. When you have a straight line like this, and it gets split, anytime you have a straight line and it's getting split somehow, a straight angle is 180 degrees. So no matter where you split that angle, right here or here or here, the two new angles that it makes are still going to add to 180. So 115 plus 65 adds to 180, and here 81 and 99 add to 180. That becomes very important. We practiced it last time when we are now starting to deal with intersecting and parallel lines. So intersecting lines is just two lines that cross, okay? Those are intersecting lines. Okay, last time we talked about perpendicular, that's when they make a perfect 90-degree angle. That's intersecting lines. These would also be intersecting lines, okay? You get the idea. They don't have to make a 90. They are just two lines that cross. So now this, understanding this part here is very, very helpful for the kind of problems that we're doing. Okay, so this says which sets of angles in the following diagram are supplementary. Okay, I'm not going to list out every single pair, but I'm going to kind of show you how this works. Supplementary angles are when we have a straight line that's being split somehow. Okay, that means that supplementary angles add up to 180. So this is when like this angle and this angle together make 180. So it's saying like which of the pairs of angles that add up to 180? Well, anywhere we can find a straight line that's being split in half or in two, then that is going to be a supplementary angle. So like this line here, let's just take this one to start off with. Okay, that line is a straight line and it's being split here. So we know that like to go from here to here would be a 180 degree. So that means angle 2 and angle 1 together, okay, like angle 2 plus angle 1 is going to have to be equal to 180 degrees. Okay. Same thing could be said for this one. We got a line here that's being split. 6 and 5 have to be add up to 180 degrees. But we also have down here, this one's being split. 3 and 4 have to add up to 180. Okay, if we think of this kind of like upside down, sometimes it can even help to turn your paper just to like help you make a line like flat or like just give you a different perspective on it. But if I think of it as going from here to here is a straight line that's going to be 180 degrees and it's being split, then this and this angle have to add up to 180. And you can keep going with this. Okay, you can keep finding angles, more and more angles that are going to add up to 180. Here I have a straight line. It's being split. These two add up to 180. It's also being split on this side, a straight line being split into two. These two angles have to add up to 180. And so on and so on and so on. Okay. If you look long enough, you're going to keep finding straight lines being split. So that then brings us to how we're going to use this to solve some things. So on the next page here, we've got, it says solve for the missing angles in the following diagram. So it tells us that angle 2, this when it says M and then this sign and 2, this means like the measure of angle 2. It's just saying how big is angle 2. That's it. Okay. M angle 2 is measure of angle 2. So it says the measure of angle 2 is 45. It tells us that one right out of the bat, or right out of the gate, but it doesn't tell us 1, 3, or 4. So how can we figure it out? Well, we can figure all these out very easily by thinking of those supplementary angles. So here we have a straight line that's being split. Okay, so this would be 180 degrees. So 45 plus this angle have to equal 180 degrees. So 45 plus 135 degrees would give me 180. So now I've solved one of them. Okay, that's angle 1. Now I need to find the other ones. So now I'm going to think of, okay, well, how could I find angle 4? I could find angle 4 thinking of this as a straight line, and this would be 180 degrees being split into two pieces. Okay, so one of these angles is 135, and the other one together, these are going to add up to 180, 135. This one has to be 45 degrees. 135 plus 45 degrees is 180. Which brings me to the last one. Okay, I could do this two different ways. I could think of it as this is a straight line being split here, that these two have to add up to 180. Or I could think of it this way, that I've got a straight line here that's being split. So these two have to add up to 180. Either way, it's saying that 45 plus something is 180. It's either 45 plus this is 180 or 45 plus this is 180. It's going to be the same thing either way. It ends up being 135 degrees. Okay, and you've probably noticed a pattern here that we've got 45 here and here across from each other, and we've got 135 here and here across from each other. And you can see when you're looking at this that this angle here and this angle here are the same size, and this angle here is a big wide one and a big wide one. They're the same size. So this is going to be true anytime we have an X, like anytime we have two crossed lines like this that are perfectly straight. The ones that are directly across from each other like this are going to be the same. Okay, and it's because of this relationship that we just saw. 180, like these two have to add up to 180, and then these two have to add up to 180. Well, 135, it's going to be the same number for both. Okay, so that's why this kind of works out. But the nice little shortcut is that anytime you've got two crossed lines like that, the ones right across from each other are going to be the same. So here, let's use that trick to speed this one up. So angle 3 here is 113. And so I have two straight lines crossing each other here. So right across from this one, right directly across, I know it's going to be the same. This one's going to be 113 degrees as well. Don't have to do any adding, nothing. Okay. These two lines, if I want to find angle 2, I'll say, like, let's say that we've got a straight line here that's being split into two angles. 113 plus what is going to give me 180. It'd be 67 degrees. And to find the last one, I know it's going to be also 67 degrees. Okay, because we have that two lines being crossed, and these ones are right across from each other here. Okay, they're going to make that 67 degrees. You can keep adding 180, like up to 180 each time, but this does save you some time. So there's some practice, and then here, for all these, we're not using a protractor, by the way. For questions like this, like you can use a protractor, but you're going to end up being off by like 1 or 2 degrees often because it, if you measure it just a little bit imperfectly. And then sometimes the diagrams aren't actually accurate. Sometimes this isn't actually 49 degrees in real life. It's just counting on you adding, saying like what's going to add up to 180. Here we have a straight line being split, and so 49 plus what will give us 180. In this case, it's 131 degrees. And then here, all these lines are basically just here to confuse us. Okay, in this one, we're looking for this angle. We know this angle, and we know that here we have a 90-degree angle. So we know that this angle and this angle together make 90. So this one's going to be 61 degrees. So these are just double examples, or like just double lines. Okay, this is no different than what we were doing before. You could basically think of it as like do this part and then do this part, and it's no different. So I'm not going to take the time to go through that one. The tougher practice can get quite tough. Okay, some of these are quite challenging. Remember that if you see this, where they have the same number of like ticks in them like that, that those two angles are the same. So this one, like, you can figure it out using your adding to 180, or you can know that like these are directly across, so this is going to be 112. These are the same, so this one also has to be 112. Okay, and then you can figure out these ones. These three together have to add up to 180, so I can help you figure out that one. This one is a whole mess that you have to really figure out. You need to figure out where is there like only one piece of missing information. Where can I draw a straight line that's going to help me? And to so this one, just keep kind of looking until you find that spot where you have enough information to figure out your problem there. And the other thing that helps you here, it's actually kind of hard to tell, but here we have two lines that are crossing like that. And so we know that this one's going to be 70 degrees right away. Not because it's like anything's adding to up to 180, but because anytime we have lines like that, that are or angles that are right across from each other, they're going to be the same. And I guess the other hint I'll give you is that here we now know the 40 and the 70, and we know that these two angles are the same. So if you can find out those and split them in half, okay, then you'll be on your way. Yeah, so take your time with these. Some of these can be kind of tricky, and good luck.